Let's learn our third chord. So far you've got the chords of A and E, and hopefully you've been changing between those as we set out in the homework on module 1. Hopefully they're getting faster and you can at least play them now without looking at the chord box. You sort of know how they feel on your fingers and you're strumming the right strings, bottom 5 or 6. So let's add in a slightly more challenging chord, a D chord. Most beginners that I've taught, this is a little bit harder to get at first, but as the time goes on, it does get better. So take your index finger, put it on the 2nd fret on the G string. Take your middle finger, put it on the 2nd fret on the thinnest string. So notice how these fingers are on top of each other. They're not doing this. They're right in the middle of this fret marker, and they're on top of each other, pointing towards my face. This index finger especially, the middle finger not so much. Try that. Then you'll notice you've got a gap. So you've got a string here that isn't being played. We're going to fill the gap in with our ring finger on the 3rd fret on the B string, the 5th string down. That is a D chord. I'll put it down slowly. Here you go. Okay, notice how I'm turning my wrist slightly, bringing my elbow into my body to angle the strings. My thumb, you can have your thumb up here for D if you really want to. I don't mind where your thumb is too much, as long as when you're doing that, you're not getting this sort of sound. You're getting that sort of sound. So make your D, and for a D chord, you can drop the thumb up here. You're going to be strumming the bottom 4 strings. Okay? Very important. So for the A chord, it's bottom 5. For the E chord, all 6. For the D chord, strum the bottom 4. Okay? So with your D chord, put it down and check it. Give it a pick like we did with the other chords. You do this with every single new chord you learn. Pick it. Now quite common is for this string to be muted, usually because it's just not being pressed hard enough. So just press harder, maybe bring your thumb lower. And then sometimes the bottom string is getting, this finger is touching the bottom string where it shouldn't be. So that means that instead of pressing down like that with the tip of the finger, you're pressing down more like this with the flat of the finger. So make sure you do use the tip. And notice this joint here, see this joint that my little finger's pointing out? It's not doing that. Keep all the finger joints locked up, never buckled down like that, okay? Now that will stop you from muting that bottom string. Finally, that bottom string, you could sometimes be pressing the marker here. Never press the marker, come back a little bit so you're in between. Press as hard as you can, give it another go. Once again, keep checking it. If it's your first week of playing guitar, you might not get it straight away. You might not even get it perfect by next week. But usually for most people, 4 to 6 weeks, the D chord is cleaner and less buzzy. You might get it straight away, who knows? Depends, just depends on you and your guitar. It depends on a lot of things. So that's your D chord. The most important thing is if it's not quite there, you've done everything you can and you can't get it straight away, is come back to it. Keep making it, keep playing it. So now this leads me to one little bit of homework I'd like you to do. So you had A and E that you were changing within 1 minute. Hopefully you've been getting that number nice and high and you've been getting it close to sort of 20, 30 mark. But I'd now like you to add in the D chord into this sequence. So this is the sequence I'd like you to do. I'd like you to go A first, then change to E. Now I did show you how to do this. Bring the index finger onto the G string on the 1st fret. Move this little wedge of fingers up, middle and ring, strum all 6. Now to change to D from there, lift up middle and ring. Slide the index to the 2nd fret on the G string. Bring the middle finger underneath and bring the ring finger in its place. So here's E again. Notice how my index finger doesn't lift up, it stays held down. So there's E, there's D. And then back to A. There's no shortcut method of A, just lift up all the fingers and get your wedge, your little triangle of fingers down. A, E, put the index down, move the little wedge of fingers up. D, lift up these, move the index up, middle and ring, push your wrist forwards, fingertips, strum. Then back to A. Okay, so do that with 1 minute. Concentrate on strumming the right strings as well, and enjoy.